Hi everyone.
Yes,
It's good to be here with you because I see amongst the people here some of those who's queuing at 5 and 4 and 6 in the morning allowed me to attend some of the elements of the Old Bailey trial. And Emmy is right. I mean, I queued at 4 a.m. outside this court and outside the High Court to be able to get in. And as a legal observer in this case, thank you for the solidarity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Free Julian Assange!
As a legal observer in this case,
Thank
The people will never forget.
Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Bravo!
The people are in solidarity with us.
Bravo! Free Julian Assange!
He will not be forgotten.
Bravo!
Yes. Yay.
Free Julian Assange!
Jail the war criminals.
Free Julian Assange! Thank you! Thank you! This is Britain speaking when everything is bought.
Mainstream media will not forget.
But for human rights alone!
isn't that wonderful?
Beautiful! Bravo!
It is great to see this solidarity with Julian.
Yes!
Can you hear me?
Yes!
Yes.
It's wonderful to see this solidarity with Julian. Julian's case is a very, very dispiriting one. But when I'm amongst you all, I feel quite uplifted because we know from the hawks on the street through to these people who've been standing outside the Ecuadorian embassy since Julian was in the prison, before everybody realized what a prison the Ecuadorian embassy had turned out to be for him. And given that Julian has now served over a decade in confinement for telling us the truth. And let me tell you what this truth is. Let me just remind everybody what this truth is. In the early 2000s, in the aftermath of 9/11 and in the aftermath of the illegal invasion of Iraq, we had a situation where a 14-year-old boy was illegally captured on the battlefield, taken and tortured for weeks. While he was having serious weeping wounds, he was made to walk up and down a corridor with a heavy weight. This is a child. This is a boy. And this happened not just for that short period of time when he was captured. It happened systematically for years while he was at Guantanamo. Omar Khadr, whose supporters stand here today, and I'm trying to...
Valerie is the support.
is now free. Omar Khadr is now free. And he is free because of the work of lawyers who stood by him even though the Canadian government abandoned him. He's a Canadian citizen. He is free because people like you and me stood on the streets, stood in court, stood outside, spoke to our politicians, wrote to our MPs and said, this is unacceptable, he is a child. And no matter what crimes he has committed, this is not the way we treat a child if we are civilized. And actually, as it became visible through Omar Khadr's trial, he had been captured illegally. It was a war crime in terms of the way he was treated during his capture and subsequently. It was a war crime, the continuing war crime that is Guantanamo, where people are not given due process, where you have a military commission which decides on the future of men. 789 Muslim men have systematically been tortured at Guantanamo. And that is illegal and wrong. And we as civilized nations shouldn't allow for it to continue 20 years on today. And I'm so glad for people like Andy Worthington and others who've chosen to expose this. And behind all the truth of Guantanamo, of Iraq, of Afghanistan, the person who really showed how Black Lives Matter, that Black Lives Matter, is Julian Assange.
Free him!
Black Lives Matter doesn't come from taking the knee alone. Black Lives Matter comes from respecting the living and the dead in these countries which we have exploited and destroyed for our own ends. We need to stop invading and bombing other countries. We need to stop creating regime change plans in other countries. We need to look after the poor, the vulnerable in our own country. And it's really important that we recognize that it is through the freedom of Julian and others that we are free. And it is through the capture and incarceration and brutality towards Julian that we are imprisoned.
Yeah, that's right.
Julian is sitting in Belmarsh. Throughout this process, he has not been through a jury trial. The prosecuting state it is evident now through publicly confirmed information from US government insiders. 30 US government insiders have confirmed that the prosecuting state planned to kill him.